That men don't talk, but they are so wrong. Join me, Noel Professor Richards, and my co-host Huey Coffey every Monday at 6:30 p.m. for Men Talk. We talk about how to live, how to love, and how to lead. So join with us as we talk about everything that men talk about on Men Talk. Mondays 6:30 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise.
You can now see the Men Talk team live on Facebook at Isaac the Promise and YouTube on FBN TV. Sponsored by Dr. Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady at Anaya Health and Wellness Center. Call 360-5166 or 478-7416.
To the men who feel like you're at your wits' end, don't know how you got in this mess, you're standing there looking, saying, where do I begin? Too late, too long, too much, too far. I've got good news, something I think you need to understand. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Son, let me tell you. It's about Jesus, who he is and what he can do and where he's been and how strong he is and how able he is. You can, I'm a witness. Take the courage of the morning and soar into your dreams. Step into your destiny. Get yourself together and get back up again. To every man who ever gave up on his dream, walked away from his career, his wife, his children, did something crazy, lost your self-esteem, sitting down with a belly full of regret. Been to hell and back, been there, messed up, done that. We got a story for you, we want to bring it to you. Listen to me and listen well. I know what it is to have my feet dangling over the very fires of hell. But through it all, I learned some trust in horses and some trust in chariots, but I will remember the name of the Lord. And even though the righteous man falls 7 times, get back up on your feet. Start all over again. He's a friend to the friendless, father to the fatherless, physician to the broken and hurt. Is there no balm in Gilead? Is there no physician there? We got news for you. Your story can't end here. Lose your pain. Get rid of your fear. Stand up on your feet. Get back up again. You can start over.
Oh, you can start all over. We can start. That's what we need to do right now. It's Men Talk. Time for Men Talk on Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise. And of course, you know what Men Talk is about. It's a time where we as men get together and we talk about the issues that affect us every single day of our lives. We talk about our hopes, our dreams, our fears. We talk about relationship. We talk sports. We talk about all sorts of things. The things that men usually talk about. And the purpose of the program is to get men talking, because we know when men talk, healing can take place, deliverance can take place, many things can take place when we talk. And so we encourage men to talk. Now, if you're new to the program, especially if you're female, we want to let you know that it's a Men Talk program, so we don't usually invite ladies to talk. Now, usually, what we do is that we allow ladies to WhatsApp us, send us a WhatsApp to 2751981. But WhatsApp is down. WhatsApp has been down. Well, I guess you could call it what's down now instead of WhatsApp, because it's not working today. So, ladies, I'm sorry. I apologize, and I cannot give you the opportunity to call in. So, ladies, you're going to have to observe today. But the men, you will be able to interact with us. You're going to be able to talk with us, ask your questions, and make your comments. My co-host Huey Coffey is not in today, and have not seen George as yet, so I'm not sure what's happening with George. But our guest is here already, and I'm going to bring him in a minute. But again, just to let you know, in case you're new, because of the fact that we don't have WhatsApp, the ladies will not be able to interact with us. But men, please, we want you to get ready to call and to share with us, ask your questions, make your comments, be a part of this program. Did I get a chance to say happy birthday to Kieran Fritz? That's a gentleman here. I am seeing on all over Facebook today is Kieran Fritz's birthday. I don't know why that is so. And I just spoke with him, so I didn't get a chance to ask him. So Kieran, if today is your birthday, happy birthday. If it's not your birthday, well, brother, plenty of people think it's your birthday, so happy birthday to you. But anyway, let's get into Men Talk today. Now, I have a guest today that I met just a couple of days ago, as a matter of fact. He interacted with me because of, some business that my wife and I were doing, and I got to know him, and we got to talking, and I found out that he has a fantastic story to share, and I would like for him to share it with us here on Isaac 90.1 FM. Please allow me to introduce to Men Talk for the first time, Mr. Vijay Samaroo. Vijay, good evening and welcome.
Hi, welcome to you, Professor Richards. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here and have this opportunity to minister in my testimony for my son.
Yes. Well, let's hear about you first. Before we hear about your son, tell us who you are. Tell us a little bit about yourself so we can warm up to you.
All right. So my name is Vijay Samaroo. I fellowship at Jesus Loving Ministry. I have two sons. And my wife. I'm the president of the men's ministry at Jesus Loving Ministry, where we have something similar to what you guys have, but not in such a large way. We try to get the men to come out and do something a little bit to share feelings and comfort, a word of comfort and so forth. And Bible is a Bible-based class.
Indeed. Well, great. Well, it's good to know. It's good to know that you're involved with men, developing men, so you might be able to fit right into Men Talk this evening. But today we're talking about not so much about you. I just wanted you to introduce yourself, but we're talking about your son today.
Right.
First of all, what is his name?
All right. My son's name is Arnushan Luke Samaroo. He is 16 years old. And when he was at the tender age of a little bit over 4.5, he was born a pretty healthy child. And at the age of a bit over 4.5, he was diagnosed with cancer, leukemia, and that's cancer of the blood. And the prognosis was really not good. It was really something that no parent would want to go through. It's not something you wouldn't wish this on your worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in that the blood has the cancer and the white blood cells is overtaking the body, and his white blood cells was like over 1 million, which is pretty scary. It's not something I knew about. It's when doctors explained it to me, and then we realized how serious this situation really was.
Now, before you continue, I just want to get a little context with the white blood cells. It says over 1 million. Do you have any? What is normal? What is normal range?
Yes. A healthy person would be like, doctor told us, would be like 50 to 100,000, and that will increase depending on if you get some kind of an injury. So like a first degree burn or so, it goes up to about maybe 150 to 200,000. Also, it would not go further about 300,000. Because then the white blood cells will overtake the red blood cells, and that's going to be an issue. The white blood cells is what defends the body.
Yes. And his one was 1 million, you said?
Over 1 million.
Over 1 million.
I think they recorded it at 1.13 million.
Wow. What a thing. So getting that news, how did you feel as a parent, as a father?
Not good. Really not good. It's not something you want to hear for your firstborn, especially a firstborn son for a dad.
Yeah, I hear you. Okay, so take us along the journey. So what happened after that you got that diagnosis?
Right. So the diagnosis was a trauma in itself. Then we had to go through the processes of taking him to the hospital and confirming what the doctors had. Facilities, if that's okay with you. I haven't spoken to them, like the medical facilities. So I will just.
Okay, we seem to be getting some technical issues here. Just 1 second.
I'm a witness.
Okay, let's go again. Yes, Vijay, go ahead.
Your destiny. Get yourself together and get back up again.
Okay, are you hearing me?
To every man who ever gave
Okay, you're hearing me, but we're not hearing you. Let's see if we could get this sorted out.
from his career, his wife, his children, did something crazy, lost your self-esteem.
Okay, let's try again, Vijay. All right.
Messed up, done that.
Let's go again. Let's go. We will beat this.
Bring it to you. Listen to me.
Okay, Vijay, talk to me.
I'm here.
All right, yes, we're hearing you now. Go ahead. Okay, stop again.
Some trust in horses and some trust in
Okay, so we seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulty here, Vijay. Let me see if I can hear you again. Say something.
You hear me?
All right, yes, go ahead.
Right. So what was your last question? I didn't really hear it clearly.
Yeah, so we continue the journey. So you got the diagnosis that his white blood cells is over a million. What happened? What happened then?
Well, we took him to a couple medical institutions to get a second opinion. San Fernando General Hospital. He was diagnosed by a private medical center. I don't want to really call the name because I didn't really discuss it with them. But I'm not going to advertise for anyone.
Yeah, no problem. Not a problem.
Okay. So we took him to the General Hospital in San Fernando, and the doctors there told us that because of the case of what the situation is, they're not capable and they will not be able to handle it. So one of the doctors there, a female doctor, came to my wife and said, "Ma'am, the situation with the child is not good." And I'm telling you this as a mother, not as a doctor, that you need to take your child and go to Eric William Medical Hospital, which is where they will handle the situation better. And she gave us a letter and so forth. And mind you, these doctors are not supposed to do these kind of things. And I'm telling you, that's the favor of God. Because we started to see the favor of God from the word go. From that actual diagnosis, we started to get the favor of God come upon us. Like, we didn't really recognize such because, remember, at this time, we were done traumatized with the diagnosis of leukemia. These are things you only hear about. You don't really meet much people that have this kind of diagnosis, especially with him being one of the rarest cases that I've ever seen in a child, for a very healthy child. After that, they sent us to Eric William Medical Complex, to the pediatric department, where they did some tests as well, and again, they confirmed, and it went a bit over 1.1 million white blood cells because they didn't really do any treatment at San Fernando or the other institutions. And they confirmed and they told us, just so straightforward, that Mr. and Mrs. Samaroo, this is not good. Your child is not going to live. He has probably 10% chance to live, if so much. And they were more confused than us.
But so let me take us through to the emotions that you were feeling, because to get that kind of diagnosis, I mean, you as a father, of course, you don't want to hear that. As a mother, you don't want to hear that. Did it do anything to your relationship, you and your wife? Because some things, they tear people apart, and some things bring you closer together. What was that like?
Okay. No, it didn't tear us apart. It kind of brought us closer because I don't know. It has to be the intervention of the Holy Spirit, because some of the things we used to think would have been mutual in terms of caring for him, the emotions and that kind of thing. It actually draws really closer than before. Well, we have a little business and so forth, and I'll tell you, this had changed our lives totally. Not drifting from the point. I used to believe, and I come into a point, right? I used to believe that being a Christian is going to church, Sunday, giving your tithes, singing a bit, and that makes you a Christian. After this incident, it dawned on me that is not so. Being a Christian is not just letting people see you in church. I used to work Sunday to Sunday. After this incident, I give the Lord's time to Him. Sunday we fellowship at church. We are part in the ministry and so forth. So this, even though it was a bad situation, good came out of it. A lot of good came out of it in terms of our relationship with the family and with God, with Jesus.
Okay, so you're a businessman, and you said you used to work Sunday to Sunday. All right.
Yes, Sunday to Sunday, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So and this thing affected you. So tell us a little bit. Okay. So you got a diagnosis. They sent it to Mount Hope.
Yes.
Again, did you think there was any hope at all for him, or were you just like going through the motions?
As a parent, yes, there's a glimmer of hope. The fact is always be the fact in that the doctor says this is the fact in that he has cancer, he's gonna die. But as a parent, you have that glimmer of hope inside that what they're saying, they don't know what they're saying and so forth. It's not that easy to explain. It's I don't know. I don't have words to explain what I really want to say.
Yeah. But let me ask you about you personally, though, because
Sure.
sometimes as a father, and a husband, you want to show your strength. You want to be strong. You don't want anybody to see you doubting or wondering. But did you have those moments by yourself where you wondered what was going on? You wonder why this was happening. Tell us a little bit about that. What happened in your quiet time? How did you deal with it?
Yes. All right. So that's a very good question. I just need to slow down a bit while answering this because I don't want to get too emotional. Yes, Professor, you're right. As a dad, you wonder, why, Lord, why does have to happen to me? What can I do? Always being the provider in the family and always fixing the little issues that they have. As a dad, it did take a toll on me at times, and you have to show strength where there's no strength and keep your emotions hidden inside. Men on the whole, that is something that they have bundled up, and it kind of at times that is what pulls them down. So I have to say the strength of the Lord and the strength of our pastors. Those people would have been with us day in, day out, which would have helped me in this situation to be strong for my sons, my wife and myself and the immediate family.
So this is something that you made public then, because you're talking about support from others. So did you share your story with others?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Did you share your story? What happened with your son? Did you share it with others while you were going through what you were going through?
Yes, Professor. During the actual transition, we had a lot of people come to us, in good and bad, in that there are a lot of people that will come and tell us about the negative things that happen, and that is not something you want to hear. In a cancer hospital where your child is diagnosed worse than their children. And there are incidents where we would have spoken to others as well and uplifted them in because we have we had started to get progress at an early stage in his diagnosis. Mind you, I need to say also that in diagnosing leukemia, they need to do a bone marrow test where they stick a needle in his spine. He was too weak to do that. If they had done that, he would have died. That is how bad the situation was. So they could have not done that bone marrow aspiration as protocol. So the other tests would have proven that to be positive. Yeah. In the interim, we would have had a lot of support. Doctors would come and see us. They would have parents that even during our time, we try to console to take our minds off of the situation. And I had seen with my son that the white blood cells go down. And it is to be like a big sports match in the hospital. When doctors come and give us the report, from 1 million, it's 900,000, and everybody would jump up and ball, yeah. And these are people that we don't know. And we would support one another. And our pastors and a couple of members of the church were very instrumental in our support. They were there like quite a lot.
Yeah. Folks, you're listening to Men Talk on Isaac 98.1 FM. The Promise, we're talking to Vijay Samaroo, father, and telling us of his experience with his son who was diagnosed with leukemia. We'll be back after this.
With me here is Nagila. I went and dropped off some supplies for June and Jane. I ain't like how the looking man are concerned.
Boy, I saw June in the grocery and her feet was swollen. I said, girl, what happening?
And you know she's diabetic. James had plenty bags under his eyes like he wasn't sleeping.
Boy, she said James have back pain so much he could hardly sleep when the night come.
These things could be acting up because they're home during the COVID season.
Boy, that's exactly it, you know.
I was thinking to probably give them Anaya Tony's number, you know.
Hey, that's the girl right there.
She deals with so much things, stroke patients, diabetes. I have the number stored on my phone. I'm going to give it to them right now.
Reflexology treats the body through the feet and helps with restoring health and wellness. Call Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady, therapeutic reflexologist at Reflexology Health and Wellness Plus, 360-5166 or 478-7416.
That's right. We say thank you so much to the Feet Lady, Ayana Tony, for the sponsorship of Men Talk for today. So we're talking to Vijay Samaroo. Now, Vijay...
Professor?
Yes. You hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you,
okay,
Professor.
Wonderful. So your son has been diagnosed with leukemia. It's over 1 million white cells, as you said. You took him to the hospital, yes. And of course he has to stay in the hospital, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, so he has to stay in the hospital. What was it like having a business? And I know you would have been involved in ministry as well. Having a business, but then again, you said you used to work 7 days a week. How did you manage that? Having to be in the hospital, seeing about a sick child, a child that is that sick. How did you manage that? What was that period like?
It was quite a juggle because both my wife and I would have taken turns in the hospital with our son. She would at times, the business wasn't running at full capacity because the most important thing at this point would have been our son at the hospital. So we spent almost 3 years there. Either her or myself would have been there with him 24 hours a day.
So tell us a little bit about when you started the turnaround, when the turnaround came. Tell us what that was like. Was it good news that you got? Did you begin to see something different? What happened?
Okay, so as I said, in the early stage, it was really bad news and something that is new to us. So we didn't know, you didn't really know what much to expect. You just go with the news that you have gotten, right? The early part, the most important thing was to get the white blood cells down, which doctors did what they had to do, and we prayed a lot. Our pastors was there. The white blood cells coming down would have been the greatest challenge that doctors were telling us that had to be done. And they would have administered a chemical to bring that down, vincristine or so. And they were setting him up for chemotherapy. Now, in all this, we were seeing little miracles. Well, miracles. I mean, miracles is miracles in itself, right? We have seen all these miracles happen where he would have, I honestly believe he would have gotten special attention because the way doctors used to come to look at him and visit him twice a day. And this was around, I believe it would have been around October. It was Diwali time. So most people around a holiday would not really be there, and doctors would have come in. The specialist would have been there. I wouldn't call his name on air. Two specialists, and they were the specialists in the Caribbean for pediatric leukemia. They would have come in. That itself would have been a good news for us. At times, we would have seen bad news as well in terms of he would have gotten high fevers. He would have had problem breathing. They would have inserted a tube in his private part to bring out the white blood cells to pass out properly. They wanted to measure the urine and make sure they didn't get any blockage in the urinary passage and so forth. They would have given him some drugs to counter the white bloods.
So how did it feel, Vijay, as a father, and maybe you might be able to tell me how your wife felt as well, looking at your son there, because I know some men would feel helpless and even hopeless. How did it make you feel emotionally looking at this little child having to go through all that he had to go through before he even got a chance of starting life?
Professor, you just summed it up right there. That feeling of hopelessness was there at times, but this is not something as a male you would want to let your wife or your son see, because it is not a good feeling. It is a feeling of helplessness and hopelessness, especially when they started to administer chemo and you're looking at his hair falling off. What are you going to tell him? And it's hurting you even more than him.
Yeah. So when they started, how old was he at that particular time when they started that?
When he was diagnosed, he would have been like 4 years and 8 months or so.
But did he show any signs before? How did you all know something was wrong with him?
Okay, it started basically as he had a high fever. He wasn't eating and his stomach was swelling. He had diarrhea at all times and he had some pains. But otherwise, it was nothing out of the ordinary. Even his pediatrician, when he checked him out, he said it wasn't anything serious.
So then what made you, so did the pediatrician himself, did he refer you to the hospital? What actually happened that made you all know something was wrong?
Okay, so my wife, she started to say, listen, something is not right with this child. His stomach is swelling. He's not eating anything. It's not gas. He's crying. He's a little irritable. It's like some little infection or something. She took it up. There was a doctor who had an office next to our business, and he did some checks on him. And he said, listen, take this blood and take it to a particular medical institution, which she did. It's in San Fernando. And when they did the test, they were so shocked and surprised. They told my wife to bring the child here. We need to see the child.
And so that was the beginning of it.
Yes. They told us that this child not supposed to be alive. With what they are seeing here, they want to see the child to see if we took these samples properly or where we got the sample and so on.
Okay. So in terms of, you said you had support from other people, but when you would have shared your story with others, what kind of reaction did you get from people? I know you said you had support from some and support and a lack of support from others, but I'm talking about the reaction now. Were you willing? Was it easy for you, first of all, to share that with others, and then what was the kind of response that you got from people when you shared it?
Okay, so like in the later half, we had a number of miracles, and we started to accept these miracles and actually see these miracles. And we did minister this unto others. And as I'm saying it to you, I'm saying it to them. It is not an easy thing for them to believe. It doesn't sound plausible. And I wouldn't say a story. I'll say the recollection of the facts that happened to him. Because when you say a story, it's something that's fabricated. And when you tell people these things, the recollection of what happened to him, it doesn't sound real in that he had leukemia. He was diagnosed with leukemia. His blood count was so high at this young, tender age. To take bloods from him. It's 4 or 5 of us, big strong men, have to hold him down, and he's only like 4.5 or so. And that those things doesn't sound real. In terms of the white blood cells going on, you tell people about it. Some will not believe, like families who have children with leukemia and so forth. My wife did a lot of ministering. She spoke with a lot of the families, and it did help. A lot of the families did accept it.
I see. Now, I'll tell you something. I remember, I have, my wife and I have 3 boys. And, at different times, they would have had to go to the doctor and go to the hospital. And I remember there was one particular time when my son, Joshua, he had stuffed something up his nose. We didn't know. We didn't know that he had stuffed something up his nose. He just know that something was wrong, and he was sick. He wasn't eating and that kind of thing. And he was in the daycare, and he had put a piece of sponge up his nose, actually. But I remember being at the hospital, and there was this particular doctor, Indian doctor from India. After all the tests and everybody's doing all sorts of things, he came, and he looked at him, and then he said, "Daddy, I want you to do something for me." He said, "Daddy, I want you to hold on his two feet." And there was someone else there who held on his hand. And he took this long scissors and pushed it up his nose and pulled out this thing. Everybody else was searching doing all different sort of tests. And he knew that was the problem. But when I was standing there and he said, "Daddy, hold him down." First of all, it told me that something was about to happen that I know I wasn't going to like. And I held his legs, and the other person held his hand. And when I saw the doctor take out this thing and was pushing it up his nose, I wanted to stop the doctor. I wanted to say, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But I didn't, right? And in the end, it worked out. And that's why I'm asking you the question, because as a man, when I saw what was going to happen, I mean, I almost wanted to hit that doctor. What are you going to do with my son? Why are you doing this? So I'm trying to imagine the multiple times that you would have had to see a procedure done on your son,
Yes.
over and over. How did you find the strength to endure, to deal with all of that?
A lot of the time, my wife was there a lot of the time, right? She was part of my biggest strength, and I didn't want to break down. A lot of times I did, but not for my son, not for him to see. Because let me just add, during this course of this treatment and so forth, as doctors told us, my son had he had died in ICU, and we were outside. We weren't there when that happened. And there's a Colombian doctor, a woman. She came in the morning and told us, because he had gotten an infection. This is later to his treatment, almost to the 3rd year of him being in the hospital. And she came and she told us, she said, Mr. and Mrs. Samaroo, this young man, his will to live is beyond what you have ever seen. Did you know that he wasn't breathing for a long time, and we had to put him on machine, and his lungs had collapsed, so they say, and all his vitals was very low. His blood was 3 point something. His neutrophils was 2 point something, and his blood supposed to be like 14. His neutrophils supposed to be, I can't remember the numbers, but it's supposed to be high. His platelets would have been like 400, but it was down to about 2, which means when they stick stuff inside him, he was going to bleed to death, and all these things we had to consider. And to hear this woman who could hardly speak English coming into that room and telling you this after we broke down, after the fact, after he had died that night and nobody told us anything, and in the morning he was alive again.
Wonderful. Folks, we're talking to Vijay Samaroo about his son, Luke is his name, right?
Yes, Arnushan Luke Samaroo, yes.
Yes, Luke. And, we are talking here, we are talking about, what he went through, and, at that tender age. How old is Luke today?
Sorry, I didn't hear you,
How old is
Professor.
he today? How old is he?
Luke will be 16 in December, and he's totally free of leukemia. Doctors, I really don't want to mention the doctor's name, but Mount Hope would know us. They know us very well.
Because
you go Mount Hope Pediatrics, and you ask about Arnushan, every one of the older doctors, the files, they know us. They would have told us at one time, Professor. At one time, he was coughing up blood. But that's before they rushed him to ICU. And the doctors would have told us that he was dying at that time. His blood, his oxygen level was really low. We actually saw him dying. His body was shutting down. His body was getting black because he had contracted pneumonia in this case. And our pastors was there. Really wonderful people. And with your permission, if I can mention their names.
Yes, no problem. Go ahead.
Right. So we fellowship at Jesus Loving Ministry under the guidance of Pastor Neil Nanlal, Pastor Anna Nanlal, Rishi Nanlal, and Brother Prakash Mathura. These are the ones who are always with us. And at that time, this was around a curfew time. I believe it was 2011 or so. I could be wrong with the days, but it was curfew at around 10 o'clock. And doctors called us at that particular time and told us, Mr. and Mrs. Samaroo, make things right. Whoever you need to bring to see him, bring to see him. And our pastors was the first one that my wife called. And we started to pray. Professor, I have never cried like that in my life ever before in front of anybody. Doctors were there and doctors couldn't do anything. And they told us, doctors left us there to make peace with him and to talk to whoever that wants to talk to him. And he couldn't talk. His body shut down. His brown skin and complexion, but his body turned black. His arms and legs were physically dead. It was cold. It had no life. The only thing was moving in this child's body was his eyes. Right? His body was actually shutting down. All the meters, everything was ringing off. And our pastors were there praying. And Professor, the life oxygen in his blood went really low, and doctors told us he's not gonna live. And if he does live, by some miracle, he would be a vegetable. And prayer really does help. I can attest to that. No matter what anybody tells me. Professor, within minutes, the life support in these machines just shut up like it got a high voltage. His eyes opened. Doctors were crying on one side, and we were begging them to do something, and they said there's nothing they can do. Machine shut up. They came and they had examined him after. And when they questioned this child, everything was functional. Doctors were more shocked than us. They were asking us what happened, like if we were doctors. These are the miracles that we had passed through in this short term with this child.
Wow.
It seems like a lifetime.
Amen. The time is 7:10.
Lost your self-esteem. Sitting down with
The time is 7:10. You're listening to Men Talk on Isaac 98.1 FM. We're talking to Vijay Samaroo about his son and the miracle that has happened, bringing his son, virtually back to life from the dead after being diagnosed with leukemia. Folks, as you know, we usually open up the lines, and I want to do that now. If you have a question to ask or comment to make, 622-1981, 628-1981. We do not have WhatsApp. I don't believe we have is WhatsApp back up? I'm not sure if it is, although I'm seeing some WhatsApp on my phone. So it means that yes, it seems as the WhatsApp is back up again. So we're going to take some calls, and we're going to also, ladies, you have the opportunity today. Thought you weren't going to have that opportunity. But let's take a call first. Hello, good evening. You are on the air.
Hi, good afternoon. I am
Okay, hold on. This is still Men Talk. Ladies, what we want you to do, ladies, is to send us a text message because WhatsApp is back up, all right? So for WhatsApp, ladies, we want to ask you to send us a WhatsApp message. Men, we want you to call us at 622-1981 and 628-1981. I'm trying to get in touch with my WhatsApp here on the... Where are you, Mr. WhatsApp? Okay. So, ladies, you can please WhatsApp us. This is still Men Talk, and we're still not taking calls from the ladies. Okay. Yes. So, ladies, text us 275-1981. Ladies, that's your numbers, 275-1981. Men, the numbers are 622-1981 and 628-1981. 622-1981 and 628-1981. Those are the numbers for the men. Ladies, please text us at 275-1981. I know, ladies, you have a lot to say, but please, we want to ask you to follow the rules this evening. Yeah? And let's do it the right way. 622-1981, 628-1981. Those are the numbers for the men. 275-1981. Ladies, you can WhatsApp us on that number. We're talking with Vijay Samaroo about his son and all that his son has gone through. And just reminding you that Men Talk is sponsored in part by the Feet Lady, Ayana Tony, Reflexology. So the lines are open, the WhatsApp is open, WhatsApp is back, I believe. Try us and see. Ladies, try WhatsApp, send a text, and tell us how you feel or ask a question, make a comment. Let's hear from you. Okay. So in the meantime, while we wait on another call from a male, M-A-L-E, or a WhatsApp from a female, let's continue to talk with Vijay here. Now, Vijay, tell us, I know your son could not have been on this evening. I know he has classes, so he could not join with us this evening. But tell us a little bit about him, how he is, even after having gone through, because I guess as a teenager now, he would understand what he went through as a child. How has he responded to it? How has he reacted to it? What kind of child is he?
He's a very vibrant child. If you see him now, Professor, you would never believe that what he went through with all these chemotherapy and so forth. You would never believe it. He's responding pretty good. He used to be a very, very polite child, but I guess with all the needles and so forth, he's a little bit aggressive. There's nothing out that is bad to say. You know, he was a child, used to say everything, auntie, uncle, mommy, that, excuse me, please. He still does, but not with the passion he did before. I guess probably felt like he was violated in that how much injections he had to take. He had injections taken from him all over, blood samples and that kind of thing at this tender age. I afraid injections, Phallus, and right now, even though injections, I am really nervous on the air, so if I make mistakes, I ask for your forgiveness. So I can imagine he would have felt a bit hurt.
Angry, you think? You think he's angry about all that has happened?
I don't know. Probably.
I'm asking you to answer for him, but just by observation, I'm talking about, because it's your son, and you would know, all right?
Yeah.
So because I only kind of caught a glimpse of him, when the other day. I didn't get a chance to really interact with him as such, right? So he didn't say much. But as a father, how do you feel now looking at your son at this age, knowing all that he went through, knowing that at one time they may have to have written him off for dead because you said they told you to come, and talk to him and get whoever it is to talk to him, because that's what they usually do when they've given up on someone. When they're saying, right. So how do you feel now, looking at your son, looking back and seeing all that he has been through? How does it make you feel as a parent, as a father?
It's a whole kaleidoscope of feelings, Professor. I mean, right now it's a very good feeling, and you reflect on all the hurt that you have been through, and then there's a lot of, not glorifying all the bad things here, but with every trial, there's a test. Right, and with every bad thing that happens, there's a lot of good things that happen in our lives, and I believe this has. I really don't have the words to say what I want to say. I'm very proud of him, what he has gone through. It's made him. He's a stronger person. I really, I'm being a bit nervous. I'm lost for words really at this point. I'm just trying to kind of like compose myself and not break down here at this point.
As I told you before, Vijay, when we talked before, I said, it doesn't matter. Breaking down is part of it. We want it to be real. We want, that's why we're asking it, because people are listening, and there are people who may be in that position right now, who have a child that they have to look after, or who the doctors have given up on. Right, and I think they would like to know that this is a real story with a real person. And in fact, hold on a second, we have a call on the line. Let's take this call. Hello, good evening.
Hi guys, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
All right. What can I say for the Samaroo guy? Man of great faith. I realize you said your son is 16, so that's like high school age. And vaccine age too, right? So that's another story. So I don't know. How are you as a parent treating with this whole school aspect, vaccinated, unvaccinated, that kind of situation? If you care to talk about it. Thank you. Good.
I'm sorry, I didn't really hear the question clearly, Professor.
Okay. Yeah, he asked a question there, but I don't really want to go there because he was asking about treating with what's happening right now with the whole vaccination and school and thing. And I want to stay clear of that, right? Because I know
Okay.
people, some people are for the vaccine, some are against the vaccine. So I don't want to
Right.
I don't want to bring that into the issue. I want us to stick to what you've shared, the story that you've shared.
Okay.
And as I was telling you just now, and before I say that, folks, the lines are still open. We still have a few minutes. The numbers are 622-1981, 622-1981, and 628-1981. And ladies, you can WhatsApp us at 275-181. One lady said, "What a powerful testimony. Jesus is still in the miracle business. Encouragement to continue living for the Lord. God bless that family and thank God for good pastors." All right, that's one person who is saying that here. So please continue sending us your your WhatsApp messages, ladies. Men, continue to call us 622-1981 and 628-1981. Those are the two numbers to call if you want to talk with Mr. Samaroo concerning what he shared today with his son and being diagnosed with leukemia and all that they have been through. So let's take a call. Hello, good evening. You on the air? Hello?
Hi. Good
Hello?
night, Professor.
Yes?
Yes. I'm on live.
Yes, you're on. Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, good night to you and good night to your guest. I sat down here in my car. I'm packed up now. I'm listening. I didn't know it's a call or not. Because my family went through a medical ordeal with one of our children, and I'm not the one who can speak the fancy words and things, so I was going to talk to you plain. I heard the problems that they were having, and I hear about their ICU occurrences. We went through the same thing also. And I don't know what question to ask, because I hear about the hopelessness and the helplessness that the father would have gone through. I, too, as a father, went through that hopelessness and helplessness. And, our family is somewhat still going through the same issues. And it feels good to hear that someone is on the winning side, because sometimes that hopelessness or the helplessness can go on for quite some time, because the doctors, they don't know what to do, they don't know what to say. And almost everything that they do, it looks like they have no ideas of what is the next step. My son, at the age of 2 years old, after taking, I'm saying this because a gentleman just called, and it would have been nice to get some insight, because after 2 years old, after taking a vaccine, he's now able to walk, but he lost every single thing that he could have done. Walk, talk, everything. He lost every single thing. And that is now making happen my decision. I'm not going to vaccinate any one of my children again. And I just say that because I am a father who I'm dying inside, and there's not a support group for people like myself. And it's just a welcoming opportunity to hear this gentleman giving his testimony. I want to thank you very much, Professor, for giving opportunity for men at this time. But, it's really, really tough, even in this situation now with vaccines and all these things. And I don't know if there are other people out there like me who being demeaned, and sometimes I get angry because I know what my family has gone through. It was not an easy time. I cried like a baby seeing my son lying on a hospital bed, on an ICU bed. and I know what hopelessness is. But thanks be to God that we have made it thus far. And I look forward to the day my son will turn 16 years old, and we can stand up with a bold assurance and say God is alive.
Indeed.
You know?
Thank you so
And
much.
so that's all I can say now.
Thank you very much. Thanks for calling. Yeah, and that's the thing, Vijay, as I was saying, you know, there are other people out there who are listening. So, as I told you before, it's not about composing yourself or, you know, sounding elegant or anything. I just want you to be real. I want you to tell a story, because your story is the story of a number of people out there. You're speaking on behalf of other fathers, other parents out there who have, you know, gone through the same thing and who are going through. And there are those who are going through it right now who need, you know, the encouragement. They need to know that as you know, as men, we want to be strong. We want to stand up. We want everybody to look to us and get strength. But sometimes we ourselves feel weak, because we are facing a real situation with someone that we love. And we feel helpless, and we even get to the place of hopelessness sometimes. But you have been through it, and that's why I asked you to tell your story today. You have been through it, and
yes.
That's why I want you to talk and share with people. We only have a few more minutes, but I want you to take the time to talk to men out there, Vijay, who probably going through the same thing and probably feeling helpless. Help them right now. Talk to them.
Sure. Right. So as a man, there's ego is a big thing, and we really don't know how to open up to others. In all these situations, doctors told us one thing. I need to add in. Doctors told us, Mr. and Miss Samu, whatever you're doing, we're not doing anything. The medication is not working, and there's something called prayer and talking to the right people. Only you and you alone could know. Talking to God is one of the biggest things. And then there are people on this earth you could talk to as well, but you got to choose for yourself, you know. That hope is something only you and, you know, is something that you got to dig into that deeper strength. Faith as a mustard seed. You know, you can't give up. You really can't give up. Even though we saw what was the report, that was the fact. My wife and I didn't give up. We didn't give up for our son, because he's a sing. She used to encourage him. He's a singer. And when you see the light and the hope in his eye, why would you give up? God's word is always final, no matter how difficult the situation is. And it was impossible. Doctors told us that this child is not going to live. And if you see him now, you'll never believe he's stronger than me. He's bigger than me. He's very vibrant. He doesn't have any issues in terms of medical, physical, you know. He's very bright. He learns very fast. And this is a child that people say that is going to have issues. I mean, he doesn't have any issues. Despite all the downfall, he doesn't have any issues. And I'm not using the issues to glorify the enemy. I'm using the issues to glorify God, because at the end of everything, all the disbelief that we had, all the negative comments we had in some instances, whether it be deliberate or not, God had the glory. Yeah. The victory is won. I mean, as men, we need to not give up and keep the hope. So
there is hope. There is hope. Before we close off, I also want to ask you, in terms of the support from your wife, how was that? I know she too might have been looking to you for strength. Did you look to her for strength at any time? How did you all interact?
I didn't hear your question properly.
Your wife.
Yes.
She would have been a support, as a source of support as well. But even as a man, did you depend on her for support at any time? How did you all make it through?
At times I did. It would have been, at times, you know, at times we would have really broken down. To be honest with you, I'm just a human. Mm-hmm. There's times I hit it. I did, just to give her some hope, and I honestly believe she would have done it at times also, because when you have doctors coming in and tell you something you don't want to hear, doctors telling you, well, his blood is so low, well, the cancer is this and that, and his lungs is collapsed, and his body temperature is like 30 degrees, and his body temperature was so high at times that the thermometer couldn't read it. You know, he had fever so high. You know, we supported each other. It had times I honestly believe she would have been the strength for me. I'm not ashamed to say it, but it's a fact, because at that times I really did break down. Really, really did.
No shame in that. No shame in that. That's what your wife is here for.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
to support one another, both of you. Well, Vijay, I want to say thank you so much for sharing your story today with us. I am trusting that it would have encouraged a lot of people who might be going through the same thing, or who perhaps will, face the same situation in the future. I trust that your story of your son would encourage them, not to give up, and that there is hope even when the diagnosis says otherwise, even when you get a report that he's not going to make it, or she's not going to make it, your son is not going to make it, or even if you get that kind of report out there, sir, ma'am, this story should encourage you, to let you know that God, as somebody put it in our text just now, is still in a miracle working business and can bring you through. But you've got to not give up. Vijay, thank you so much for sharing your story. Say hello to your son for me, and to your wife. God richly bless you. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Is there anything you would want to say in closing?
Professor, it's an honor and a privilege that you had given me this opportunity. It's something I would have never expected, even though we said at times we were going to spread the word on this testimony. It was really a privilege. And I hope this would have touched at least one person, and the Lord's work would have been done. And we intend to, wherever, I'm not ashamed to talk about it. It's just at times I try to hold back, to not to really, as you said, be real. Mm-hmm. But it is at times that being real is really be messy. Put it plainly.
I hear you. Vijay, thank you so much. God bless you. And we'll chat again.
Blessed night.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Start all over again.
Folks, that's it for Men Talk for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to Vijay Samaroo, for his wife and his son. And this is a guy I just met a few days ago. Just a few days ago. And I didn't know that we were going to have this conversation on air. But I thank God that we did. God is an orchestrator of things, When you trust in the Lord, you just have to go with the flow. Go with His flow, I should say. Not watch, talk, and click, but, God's flow. And so I thank God for not just for what was shared today, but what actually, the actual details of what was shared. That God brought this child into this world and kept him even up to today. We declare that great things are going to happen in his life, because God didn't save him just to be just another ordinary person. God saved him so that he can be a powerful and mighty man, a mighty warrior. I am saying that and declaring that. So blessings to you and all of you out there who might be going through that, and you're feeling like quitting, you're feeling like giving up, you're frustrated, you're wondering why. Well, I'll tell you something. God puts us through a thing for His own purposes. In the end, it always works out. It always works out. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on your child. Don't give up on your son. Don't give up on your daughter. Don't give up on that person who is going through that. And be a support. Be a support. Let it be said that, someone who's going through this thing, that you supported them, you encouraged them, you encourage them not to give up and to have strength and to have hope. So be that light for someone who is going through this thing. So that's it for Men Talk for today. We'll be back again the next time. I think next week, Monday, we may be having a budget discussion. So I'm not sure what's happening with Men Talk for next week. But certainly the week after that, we will be back with you. My name is Noel Richards, a.k.a. The Professor. That's the end of Men Talk for today. Thank you so much to our sponsor, Ayana Tony, the Reflex Lady, the Feet Lady, and for being past sponsors of Men Talk for today.
With me here this Nagila, I went and dropped off some supplies for June and Jane. I ain't like how the looking man are concerned.
Boy, I saw June in the grocery and her feet were swollen. I said, girl, what happening?
And she's diabetic. James had plenty bags under his eyes like he wasn't sleeping.
Boy, she said James have back pain so much he could hardly sleep when the night come.
These things could be acting up because they're home during the COVID season,
Boy, that's exactly it,
I was thinking to probably give them Anaya Tony's number,
Hey, that's the girl right there.
She deals with so much things, stroke patients, diabetes. I have the number stored out on my phone. I'm going to give it to them right now.
Reflexology treats the body through the feet and helps with restoring health and wellness. Call Anaya Tony, the Feet Lady, therapeutic reflexologist at Reflexology Health and Wellness Plus, 360-5166 or 478-74.